think that bringing manufacturing back is going to require us to do half a dozen other things really well and all at the same time. We have to rethink education. We have to rethink the definition of a good job. We have to confront the stigmas and the stereotypes and the myths and the misperceptions that are keeping people from pursuing these careers that don't require a 4-year degree. All of that is part of it. We have to elevate the dignity of the job itself. I'm not talking about cello music and look for the union label and all that stuff. It's more than that. It's guidance counselors. It's parents. It's honest conversations around the kitchen table where, we talked about shop class gone from high school. Well, that just means a whole generation of kids didn't even get a look at what those kinds of jobs look like. What more persuasive way what more persuasive thing could you do to tell a kid that a job doesn't matter by just removing it from sight and not talking about it? Wood shop, metal shop, auto shop, all that stuff, right? We're still reeling from all that. It's not a coincidence, in my mind, that the push to offshore coincided with the death of shop class and the rise of the service economy and Walmart to some degree. So we ultimately put our thumb on the scale in a way that gives us low prices every day, the lowest possible price, the lowest possible. What would that iPad cost even if we had the ability to make it here in its entirety? What would it cost? If you factor in all of the pensions, if you factor in all of the union stipulations, everything else,
more.
You'd still have it, but you'd pay more. So look, we all have skin in this game. And it's not just our elected officials. It's how much do you want to pay for your sweatshirt, your socks, this rug, this chair, that iPad? That's the question that's been put to all of us. And I've been down this road a bunch. I worked years ago with a jean manufacturing company. And they didn't make their jeans here. It was a big national brand, one of the biggest. And I said, can't we just do one little vertical of purely American made, right? Just so we could just put it out there and say, we're trying. And I said, well, we have tried. And I said, what happened? And they showed me the research, and it's hard to believe. But what happened was, if you put this pair of jeans on a shelf next to a pair of jeans that's 100% made in the USA, and you charge $2 more for the exact same pair made here, you'll sell zero. If you charge $1 more, you'll sell zero. If you charge 50 cents more, you'll sell zero. This big giant textile manufacturer, one of the biggest in the country, showed me the data. It went all the way down to a penny. If you charge 1 penny more, that's when they started to see some people buying the US version. Only when it was dead equal did you see people
choosing the American product.
Correct.
Fascinating.
And apocryphal and
Right.
powerful.
Right.
Because for all our pontificating and proselytizing and, oh yeah, we got to make it here. Why can't we make it here? Back to Walmart. Why do you think they're Walmart? A, they're everywhere. They're in the small towns, and they're big, and it's low prices every day. So we can hate them, and we can look at them, and we can shake our heads at them, but we are them. We are all consumers.
Right.
And whether we abdicated consciously or subconsciously, we sat back and we gave it all away. We put it all out there. And now we're dependent, and we don't want to do the dirty jobs, to your point. We don't want that part of the supply chain. We don't want to see it. So we're going to have to rethink some things.
And maybe we've lost a bit of, I guess, the faith in ourselves as Americans. As a Canadian, if I can say that, because I certainly feel very American, even though I am technically not.
Well, think about it. I mean, never mind the border, never mind your nationality. How do you, when you feel competent, when you feel like you can fix the busted toilet or correct the electricity problem, if you feel like you can fix your own garage door, right? That's a different kind of existence than knowing I got a guy for that and he's in this phone that I don't even know how to barely operate. You know, if you're reliant in 1,000 little micro ways, then of course you're going to be reliant in just as many macro ways. We expect the food to be on the shelf. We expect the light to come on when we flip that switch. We expect the mess to go away when we flush the toilet. And when it doesn't happen, then we're kind of laid bare. We have no choice but to come face to face with the depth of our own incompetence. And that makes us crazy because nobody wants to feel that way. So we start resenting the very people who we should be celebrating. I saw this just a few miles from here where I live. We lost power a couple years ago for 5 days. 3 days in, people were like shaking their fists at the linemen who are working on the power lines, trying to get the power back on. They're so freaked out and frustrated that they take it out on the worker. Think about it. You've done it. You've been in traffic. You're late. There's road construction. How can there be road construction? Don't they know I'm a very important person and I have to be somewhere? And now they're working on the road at 2 in the afternoon. And you look at these guys and you shake your head and it all gets filed under some sort of inconvenience. We can't help it. It's the fault in our stars. We don't look at the cause of our delay and go, man, those guys are busting their butt. I'm so glad they're out there working with the asphalt in the heat. I'm so glad. We are as disconnected as you alluded to before about all of it.
But haven't we, alongside this change in education that we've been discussing in different ways the whole time, basically, we've been chatting here, there's been this, in some cases, a very overt, sort of disdain for, the American spirit, where it came from.
Yeah.
The founding fathers, civics as a whole.
It's of a piece, Jan. I think there's a force that pushes us to resent that upon which we rely. Instead of gratitude, we have resentment. Instead of curiosity for what the founding fathers did, risked, and sacrificed, we're angry with them because they didn't comport with our current belief and understanding of what a virtuous person would do, what an enlightened person would do, or I guess an awakened person today. Mm-hmm. So we're cherry picking the past. I think in many cases we're being motivated by a guilty conscience, which is brought on by the uncomfortable realization that we operate a great many machines and servo mechanisms that we don't ourselves understand. We know it. We know we've slowly arbitraged our own involvement out of the daily routines of polite society. And we know it, I believe. We know we're becoming increasingly dependent on something that isn't us, not the individual. We're relying more and more on things beyond our own control. And we're doing it in our own zip codes, in our own states. We're doing it in our country. We're doing it around the world. We're doing it in 1,000 ways and 1,000,000 decisions. We're abdicating more and more, and the heat is going up a little higher, and the water's bubbling, and the frog is us, and we're still in there.